we give just 1 more minute for others to join. So if you know someone that ought to be in this meeting today, please could you, I mean, remind them, share the link with them and remind them to join us. I would like to turn on my video so that I could see my face. So this is my gentle face, Tony Eson from Nigeria, a Commonwealth Professional Fellowship alumni in the year 2024 at the host organization LiveGate Outreach Center. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing we have on the agenda today is I already said that I'll be the moderator for today's meeting. And quickly, we'd like the Commonwealth alumni to introduce themselves. They are in a very comfortable place. They could turn on their video and introduce themselves so that briefly introduce yourself and thank you. So I'm going to call on, first I will call on because I'm not gender biased, I'll call on my gender first. Iya, could you introduce yourself to the house?
Hello, everyone. I hope you can see me. My network is a bit unstable. Good afternoon.
Good
Well, good
afternoon, I could
afternoon
see
from
you.
Nigeria and good day from wherever you are. My name is Iyaba Piki. I'm a lawyer and I'm from Nigeria and currently in Nigeria. I work for an organization called Gender Mobile Initiative as the partnerships and compliance lead. I'm also a Commonwealth alumni, and it's great to be here. Of course, I was hosted by LiveGate Outreach Center. Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iya. So, Alex, could you please introduce yourself? Thank you.
Thank you,
Alex, are you
Toyin,
there?
and
Okay.
thank you, Toyin, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Alex Chitumbo, and I'm based in Zambia. I am in the development space, and I currently serve as Director of Programs and Partnerships for an organization that supports children with intellectual disabilities. I'm equally an alumni of the Commonwealth Professional Fellowship, and I was privileged to have been placed at LifeGate Outreach Center alongside my beautiful sisters that are with me on this call. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For those joining us, for those just joining us, please could you just introduce yourself in the chat box, tell us your name and what country you're joining us from. Like I introduced myself earlier, my name is Tony Eson. I'm moderating for today's meeting, and I'm also one of the alumni at the LiveGate Outreach Center. I'm in the education space. I'm an educationist for having an experience of over 20 years. So my experience during Commonwealth Fellowship was awesome. So we'll be sharing with you today. So because we're running quickly due to our time, so we'll be going directly into the questions we have today. But if you have your questions already, please could you just drop your questions in the chat button while we also respond to those questions as we are also rating. So the first question, Commonwealth Professional Fellowship, because a lot of us as joined, you don't really know what this fellowship is all about. So I want Iya to briefly tell us what is actually Commonwealth Professional Fellowship. Thank you, Iya.
So sorry, I have to apologize. My network isn't stable, so I have to take off the video for some time. to ensure that I'll be able to speak. So thank you so much, Tony, for doing such a great job already facilitating and moderating this entire session. And thank you everyone for joining. Just to dive into the question, the Commonwealth Professional Fellowship is actually a fully funded program that is administered by UK's Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. And it's a program that is designed for mid-career professionals from eligible low income to middle income Commonwealth countries. And the Commonwealth Professional Fellowship is actually quite sector specific. For example, I and my other colleagues here went on a Commonwealth Professional Fellowship on gender and sexuality. So that speaks to the, specific skills or specific role that it gives you. And then, of course, there's a timeline. It's within 6 weeks to 12 weeks, and you're hosted by a UK host organization for this professional development. And actually, the CSC, that's the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, has about 6 development teams. So each year, they work around these 6 development teams, and some of the host organizations actually speak to these 6 development teams that the CSC is promoting. And the first one is on science and technology for development. We have the second, which is strengthening health systems and capacity. The third is on promoting innovation and entrepreneurship. The fourth is strengthening global peace, security, and governance. The fifth is resilience and response to crisis. And the sixth is access, inclusion, and opportunity. So this thematic areas or development teams, as the CSC calls it, are the teams that each impact statement or your interest or your sector specific skills in terms of what it is you want to apply for would fall under. And then just to, again, give a recap of the timeline, like I said earlier, the placement runs for about 6 to 12 weeks. And typically it starts sometime in February or March. So if you're applying for a CSC professional fellowship now, most likely if you get in, you should be in the UK in February or March. So I think I'll stop here and allow Toyin ask the next question. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Iya, for that detailed explanation. So we could start dropping your questions on the chat button. And somebody said, is this session recorded? Yes, we're recording the session and we'll share after now. So the second question is, what makes your application stand out? Because your application definitely has to stand out for you to be chosen, because there are millions of individuals applying from different West African countries. So Alex will be sharing with us what would make your application stand out. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Toyin, for that. And yeah, thank you for going over what the Commonwealth Fellowship is all about. So I'll focus on what makes your application stand out. Like the moderator has indicated, this is a very, very competitive fellowship. You are competing against the world. Unlike other fellowships where you only compete against candidates from Africa, on this fellowship you get to have fellows coming from different parts of the world. In our cohort, we had fellows from India, from Bangladesh and others. So you really need to make sure that when you are crafting your application, you take your time and you research and you ensure that you are sending a very strong application. The first thing I would advise is for you to take time and go through the fellowship, the CSC website. I think one of us will share that link so that you get to understand what the goals of this fellowship are, and you are very careful in choosing the right placement organization. In this court, there are 8 placement organizations. These are either NGOs or universities in the in the UK, sorry. And you need to ensure that you go for the right organization that has goals similar to your own professional goals and ambitions. And so that is a point that is very, very critical. Once you miss this, you might go for an organization that is focusing on something that is completely away from your own professional journey, and you miss the opportunity. Secondly, you need to ensure that you've got relevant professional experience. And that's why they are looking for candidates that have 5 years experience or more. And your experience should align with the fellowship goals and also the thematic areas of the CSC. Here I mentioned what those 6 are, but also take time to just understand and ensure that your thematic areas are in line with that. You also need to make sure that your personal statement is very, very strong. Let them be authentic. Let them hear your voice and not see AI in your write-up. So make sure that that personal statement is very, very clear. I think I will also elaborate on that later on, but also just demonstrate leadership potential that you have. So what leadership and what impact have you contributed to your community or your country? And also just making sure that you show strong commitment to development through your write-up. Give a clear examples. When I did mine just a few days ago, I was going through the application that I sent through, and I saw that I gave a lot of examples on my current and previous work experiences. And I think those examples gave them an idea of the kind of leader that I am and the potential that I have to drive change within my country. And also potential for impact, not just within your space, not just within your country, but at regional level and global level, because you are now becoming a change agent that goes beyond your country. So make sure that that is also clarified. And just 2 more points, and also having clear objectives of how your needs will be met through this fellowship. So what future objectives do you have? And these should be short-term and long-term. And how will your participating in this fellowship help you to succeed in life? And lastly, who are the beneficiaries? Who are the beneficiaries that will benefit from the skills and knowledge that you will get from your exposure in the UK? And ensure that you have 2 strong referees that will be able to tell your story and show why you deserve this spot, and just be authentic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex, for that. Thank you for that detailed explanation. So if you're just joining us, thank you for joining. Please, could you just introduce yourself in the chat box? What's your name and what country you're joining from? Thank you very much. Because we have very limited time, we will have to run very fast. So I would like to share, okay, let's go to the next question very right in. The other one that we need to talk about, we will talk about it if we have time to do that. So Iya will be sharing with us key application sections for applicants to take note of, because you have to be very detailed and very observant when you're putting in your application. So she's going to be telling us briefly in the next 2 minutes the key application sections that you should fill properly and correctly when you're applying. Thank you, Iya, and take us through that. Iya, are you still there? Okay. So while we wait for Iya, maybe she's having network issues. I will take the next one, which says, I would like to share briefly my experience after coming for this Commonwealth Fellowship. It's actually, shaped my career. If there's 360 degree, because it makes me a better person. There are new things that I learned and unlearned while doing this my fellowship. And when I got back to Nigeria, because of course you have to come back, it's not an escape route for you to follow through the Japa syndrome. This fellowship is just for 3 months, and after that, you will have to come back to your country, Nigeria, and you have to also give back. So I did a lot of projects when I came back, some on mental health, some I had to go to like 10 different schools in my local community, all the way from, I reside in Lagos State, I went to Ogun State, pour out a lot of things that I've learned during this professional fellowship for other people to benefit. So you're not just coming for yourself alone, fine, you will get a lot of benefits personally, professional-wise, exposure, but you have to come back to your home country to give back to your country. So that's all. I know my other alumni, my other fellows, we have a lot of things to share, but we just have to go to the next question. Is if you're there, please just drop a chat, private chat for me so that you could take the next question. So while we wait for Iya,
Yes.
please, Alex, okay, you're there. Did you get the question I asked before?
No, I didn't get the
Okay.
question.
All right. So the question is, sorry, could you share key application sections for applicants to take note of when they are applying for this fellowship?
Okay, so I would presume that most of the people that have joined us today probably have seen the link or some sort of information to speak to the fellowship. And if you go on that link, there are different segments or parts of it. And one of the key segments is on eligibility criteria. So that speaks to if you qualify. And to qualify, there are a number of things that you have to, know. One of which is that you have to be a citizen or a permanent resident or even a refugee of a Commonwealth country. And that's why my colleague earlier spoke to the fact that in our own cohorts, we had people from Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, and some other countries, of course, Commonwealth countries. Also, another important thing to take note of is that you have to have at least 5 years relevant experience, like full-time work experience. That is very, very, very important because even in your impact statement and all that, some of the questions that you see has to do with your your experience, your former work. If you had a previous employment, you'd be asked about your experiences with your previous employer. In fact, you would have to give contact details of your previous employer and your current employer. So having that 5 years relevant full-time work experience is extremely important, and it will definitely speak through your application. So you have to have that. Also, another important thing actually to point out is that you also have to prove and show that you have been a very well-standing volunteer. I remember that during the application, there was a section just for volunteering, and you're supposed to speak on some of the experiences that you gathered during volunteering, and even, drop the names of these organizations that you have volunteered with. Um, Another major thing, again, is also to be employed at the time of your application, because you would have to get a reference letter from your current employer. And then there's also a part where you would be asked if your employer is willing to allow you spend this 6 to 12 weeks window out of the country, out of your country. And if your employer is aware that you're going on this fellowship. So it's very important that you're employed at the time of employment. And the CSC expects that once you receive this award of fellowship and you're done with it, you have to return to your organization and do a post-fellowship um, um, programs, events, engagements, and all that. Basically, returning to your country and then putting all of the things that you have learned into work. So, another thing to note is that you have to have two references. Again, earlier I spoke on the fact that you have to have a reference from your current employer and then one from probably one of the organizations that you volunteered for, or just anybody that can speak to what you do. So um this is actually might not be important now, but let me say this. There for colleagues, for myself and my colleagues on this call, we have already gone for a Commonwealth Fellowship, but we are also eligible to go to 5 years. So if you are a Commonwealth alumni, there's also the eligibility, criteria to look into. Have you been there for so sorry about that, please. So if, like I was saying, if you've been there less than 5 years, then you're not. Another important thing that you should also note, I don't know if this is very important, but let me just point it out, is that when you're applying for the fellowship, I know that some of us are very academically inclined and some of us are real-time researchers. Okay, I think my time is up. I think my time is up. Thank you. Please, Toyin, you have the mic.
Thank you so much, Iya. Oh, well, thank you for that detail. I know you have a lot of, I know you have a lot to say, but we have to make it very brief. So thank you for that. So very quickly, I will just tell us that for you to apply for this Commonwealth Professional Fellowship, I've already shared the link of the Commonwealth on the chat box. So you could just click and read through. You have to be a reader. You have to read, because for this fellowship, there are different host organizations. We were privileged to work with, to be hosted by LifeGate, and our life was, was awesome. And so you could just read through. There are different host organizations. We have TACO, we have Bees for Development, Central Northwest London, Knowledge for Change, Lancaster University, and quite a number of them. I think for this year they have 8 host organizations. So please click the links, read through to know which of the teams of these different host organizations is related to your profession, because you cannot just apply when it's not related to your profession. Because I know this year LifeGate is addressing contributing factors to migrations and stuff like that. So for you to get the details of this information, please read through the site that was shared. So very quickly, there's an important part of the application that you need to really pay attention to. So Alex will be sharing with us the focus on the impact statement. You need to have a strong impact statement. So Alex, you have just 2 minutes to briefly explain that so that we could take questions. Please drop your questions in the chat box so that we could take your questions, or someone will respond to the questions. Thank you, Alex. You have the floor now.
Thank you, Toyin. One very important aspect of your application, like Toyin has mentioned, is providing a development impact statement, and you will be requested to do so in 4 parts. So in part 1, you will have to write your development impact within 200 words. And here they will expect you to explain how participating on this fellowship relates to one of the 6 CSC development themes. Here I went through those themes. So here in 200 words, just show how your participating and your leadership aligns to one of the 6 development themes of the CSC. And also, you will also have to show development issues that you are addressing, either at global, national, or local level. Part 2 of your development impact will have 100 words, and here they'll ask you to explain how you intend to apply your skills once the fellowship ends. So when you go back to your home country, using the knowledge and skills plus exposure that you get in the UK, how are you going to use those skills to promote positive development in your spaces? The third part of the development impact is somewhere around is at 250 words, and here you need to outline what you expect will change in development. So based on the skills and knowledge that you get, what will change when you go back to your home country after the fellowship? What are the outcomes that you aim to achieve? And these are time bound, so they will also expect you to highlight how much time you take to produce these outcomes. And they want you to be very specific with who the beneficiaries will be after you are back. The last part of the statement, your impact statement, is 100 words, and here you need to write about how just writing the impact of how your work could be best measured. So using the skills that you will gain in the UK, yes, you will use those skills to bring positive impact in your spaces. But how are we going to measure this impact? So they need to understand how we measure this, and you are also expected to confirm objectives and how uh, like you need to be very, very specific with your objectives here. So if it's short-term goals and objectives, what are these short-term goals and objectives that you want to achieve using the skills that you'll get? And what are the long-term what are these long-term objectives? So just being very specific and being so clear. And here, what I did myself was using the STAR approach. So just making sure that the situation that you want to address or that you're addressing is very clear, or the task that needs to be done, how your leadership and the skills that you get in the UK will be used to bring about positive impact and ensure that the results are very clear. So that's what you need to indicate in the statement. But also they will ask about your personal statement. That is a different essay altogether.
Thank you so
Away
much,
from.
Alex.
Okay, I'll end
Thank
here
you
for now.
so
Thank you.
much. Yeah, all right. Thank you so much. I apologize for cutting you because we just have 7 minutes to the end of this meeting. But I'd like to
That's fine.
answer a few of the questions that was asked in the chat box. Somebody asked that, what are the financial implications for this program? I'd like to tell you that for the CSC, that means the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, will pay for everything. But of course, you have to pay for your visa applications and what's it called? Visa application and your TB test. You have to get your passport, very important. But those funds, all the funds you use for all this application process will be given back to you. So you're not paying a dime. If you're in London, your feeding your allowance is quite higher than those staying in other province. So, and you will also have accommodation and clothing expenses, also feeding expenses, all expenses paid by the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. Isn't that amazing? And so you need to read. And somebody asked a question again and said that what are the requirements? We've already spoken about some of the requirements. For you to get detailed information, you should go to the website that is shared on the on the chat box for you to read more. Someone also said that, let me try to look at, somebody asked a question that, is the host organization applying for us? No, you have to apply for yourself. That's why we're talking about you having a very convincing impact statement, making sure crossing your T's and dotting your I's. So you go to the website, read what host organization team suits your career, and put a very compelling application and cross your mind that you will be chosen. So that's that. Somebody said, how will this impact my career? Of course, it's going to impact your career. LifeGate host organization taught us a lot of things. We came back, we're better individuals. And the best thing about this organization is that they still give us, we're still in contact. So when we have a project that we're still even doing in our own country, they still give us the backing and the career and all advice that we need to make us move forward. So thank you so much for joining us today. We have just a few minutes to the end of this meeting. So we'd like the alumni, my colleagues, that's Alex and Iya, to just give a 1 minute final message before we call it a day. And of course, please, could you share, could you turn on your videos while somebody will take a screenshot of everybody on this meeting today? Please turn on your videos. Let's just do a very quick screenshot. Alex, Iya, please, you have the flow. In one statement, what do you have to say for the prospective applicant in the house?
So I'll go first. Toyin has already mentioned everything, but really, this is possible. My time at LifeGate and in the UK really changed so many things in my life and my professional career. I got back home and not only me, but people around me, the organization I work for, have seen the impact, and really I achieved so much from the fellowship, and also the professional networks that I created. Today I can go to Nigeria, I can go to many other countries where other fellows came from, and I wouldn't have to worry because I have family there. And really, LifeGate is a placement organization that welcomes you. For the first day you might feel as a stranger, but when you leave, I assure you that you'll be part of the family, and they'll still keep you very close and keep supporting your work even when you get back. So all the best, and I hope to see some of you on the fellowship. Thank you.
Thank you. Iya, in 1 minute, final words.
I think that Alex has done justice to it. Just to add that, just like he said, the CSC helps you build a community because you have the CSC community on one part, and then you have your host organization community on the other part. So just ensure that your impact statement speaks to the work that you do. So ensure that you look through the host organization and see the one that fits your thematic area of work. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Iya. Anu, please, final words, 2 minutes to the end of this meeting. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We're grateful. Thank you. And because the deadline for this application is August, and this application is actually for next year, that means the year 2026, and the deadline is August 22nd, this 2025. So make sure you apply, and I wish you all the best. Hopefully we might have another session before August 22 if we if we see there's a need for that. So thank you. Please turn on your video so that we could say hello to the cameras, unmute yourself and say bye. You're the best.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. I see you all. Thank you for your time. Bye.